So I can't.
Night so quiet it hums, a melody under my thumb. City lights blink like tired eyes, a whisper in the alley dies.
Need help?
Moonlit streets, they
Go with caution.
carry me. Soft shadows, my company. The night just breathes, it lets me be. Moonlit streets, they carry me. Concrete dreams beneath my feet. Every step a syncopated beat. A broken neon sign still glows. The rhythm of the city flows. Moonlit streets, they carry me. Soft shadows, my company. The night just breathes, it lets me be. Moonlit streets, they carry me. Faint echoes of a saxophone make me feel I'm not alone. The air's so thick I taste the time. A fleeting moment stuck in rhyme. Moonlit streets, they carry me. Soft shadows, my company. The night just breathes, it lets me be. Moonlit streets, they carry me. I used to fold myself into your corners, made myself small enough to fit between your scattered thoughts and maybes, while you looked right through where I sit. You'd speak of dreams like they were solid, like clouds could
Stone.
carry weight.
I can't believe this dropped yesterday.
I was left in all the silence while your stories grew so bold. I was paper, you were scissors, cut me out. But I still linger, every fold, every golden sun, drawing low, forest bone, blood red light, angry sea, light the way for me. Today is not a day for words. This house is not a place to say. The only thing I gave away, everything I love will stay with me. Tunnel dark, secret slow, stepping through the stones, frigid tide receding, pull away the grieving, steady me. Steady me. Arches rise, worn with time. All will live, all will die, all will love, all will cry, all will look, all will find. Today is not a day for words. This house is not a place to say. The only thing I gave away, everything I love will stay with me. City hums, it knows my secrets. I'm awake, tangled in regrets. Every scar I tried to hide led me here, nowhere to run tonight. There's a spark I can't contain, rising slow through all my
Ah, come on. Why did you? Crap.
Everything you never do, and all you never say, never make it easier to numb out all the pain. Not like anything was wrong, it never made it right. You're the one to come on strong, so why am I all alone? Here we go again, the same old thing. Smiling through a bleeding heart, I'll fake it till I break apart. What's it gonna take to walk away? Man, some days I hate this town. You never fail to let me down. Better stay away before I break now. There's nothing more to say. I'm only days away from a meltdown. Now it's getting colder, driving in my car. Some things never feel the same, don't know where to start. It's not like this is new to me, I really shouldn't care. It's not like you were there for me, so why do I still want you here? wish I could forget you. Want to forget it all. I dream of you at night. Wake up and then you're gone. All the time. Lost in you. Lost in you. If only we could fix it. Make it all okay. trace your name on the window pane. Raindrops fall where my tears remain. Whispers of you still haunt the night. The ghost I hold but not in sight. And I keep replaying all we used to be. Every smile you left like a melody, but the song feels hollow, fading slow, like a river losing where to go. I miss you. Another day gone, seems I just arrived. All so close, but low on time. Move so far, was so near. Carry the weight of leaving here. Always something on the hill. Always chasing around the bend. Always hoping time stands still. Always knowing the road will end. Caught in tide of wanting, bound in the line of waiting. Been too blind to realize that everything I wanted was right here. Fear of what's ahead, regret of what's behind. Feel so old and short on time. Held my breath, failed to let it out. Carried the loss of time I'm missing now. Once so small, pure and so alive. Grow so fast, learning how to fly. Time has come, nothing I can do. Fearing the day of missing you. Always something on the hill.
Hey there.
Always chasing around the bend.
King's Honor,
Always
light blessing, safe travels.
stand still.
Be careful.
Always knowing the road will end. Caught in tide of wanting, bound in the line of waiting. Been too blind to realize that everything I wanted was right here. Another day gone, seems I just arrived. All so close, but low on time. Move so far to fight about. Carry the weight of missing out. The coffee's cold, but I still sip. Every word you said plays on repeat. Empty rooms where your laughter stayed. I keep searching, but you've walked away. Still thinking of you.
Oh.
trace the lines you whispered in chalk on pavement cracked and gray.
I'm kind of hungry.
Hoping they'd lead me somewhere closer.
It's what, almost 6 in the morning?
Washed with
5:45 a.m.
you'd carve your name into the skyline with words too heavy, sharp and cold, but I would carry all the pieces, pretend they fit, pretend they hold. I was paper, you were scissors, cut me out, but I still linger, every fold,
My belt's level 20. Really?
still here, still there, was static, you were thunder, breaking me.
Wow, why haven't I made this belt? Oh, because I need an iron buckle. Shit.
Still here, you can't erase the corners of us, the empty space.
We could make this belt. We'd lose 4 agility, but we'd gain 4 stamina. We'd have the heal in an hour, but it's like kind of pointless, to be honest. Can't make this one because I can't get an iron buckle. Wow. I really have a shitty belt. There's a volcanic, right? Volcanic. Is there any waste now? Now this recipes drop in burning steps. I don't have it's just fire resist crap. I mean, leatherworking, elemental, shit. It's all elemental though. And leatherworking sucks. And classic WoW leatherworking just sucks, man. It just straight up sucks. Because like once you get to like level 40, like there's really no recipes that are really that good for Hunter. Outside of like you go like tribal leatherworking. And even then there's just a few recipes. They need a lot more. They need to go into Classic Plus and seriously add a lot more recipes, man. Professions need significant, in my opinion.
The day is late, my path remains. I couldn't stay the same.
What's this from? Stonelash Scorpion Stinger. Is that like the Badland? I mean, Thessalis? Oh no, it's Supply Lines. Yeah, we can probably get rid of this.
Golden sun drawing low, forest bone,
If we go back to South, we can pick those back up. Do this stuff.
blood red light, angry sea, light the way for me.
We do this, but I'm just not feeling the Hunter quest.
Today is not a day
It's such a good item, though.
for words. This house is not a place.
I just want to get to 60, to be honest.
The only thing I get.
But Devil Sore Eye is such a good trinket.
Tunnel dark, secret slow, stepping through the storms, frigid tide receding, pull away. Grieving, steady me, steady me. Arches rise, worn with time. All will live, all will
brings you here. May the stars guide you. I am honored. Alone light your path.
Tyrande has no idea how to lead our people.
Ishnu Allah, good luck, friend. Till next we meet, Goddess watch over you. Be careful. Hello. Till next we meet.
Hey, what's up, little Laws? How you doing, man? I'm alright. I'm just chilling. Yeah, just chilling. Trying to manage my inventory, which is always full. No matter what version of WoW I'm playing, my inventory is always a complete mess,
Greetings.
as you can see. I suppose I could buy another bank slot. 50 gold that's going towards my epic mount, you know. Yeah. I mean, this is ridiculous how full my inventory is. It's just, when there's so many things, like, you know, there's like Scourge Stones, repeatable quest, the Lender Season, Grow Soil, unrepeatable quest, you know, crystals, which I use for my armor buff and my lightning shield, which are both incredibly useful actually. We can get rid of Bone Chewer.
Elune adorning. Farewell.
Because we got Stone Raven, believe it or not. What is like? Yeah. No, they do not. What is this packet of? Got that? Why is that like a quest? Organ research. Hold on a second. Oh, because yeah, we gotta. Program, which is such a.
I am honored. May the stars.
Oh, is he playing Hunter? I think Hunter's like one of the most accessible classes for someone who's like, if you're new to World of Warcraft and someone says what class to play, I'm always like, well, Hunter's a good class because it's easy, pretty much. The pet can do a lot of damage for you. And it's a fun class, you know. But I think that's why there's so many Huntars. I think that's how Huntar's created, because I think Hunter's probably one of the most played classes, and man, if it's worth playing, it's worth playing badly, apparently, because so many people do. I just wish I was 60, man. I always thought that when I got to 55, it'd be easy to level to 60, but I'm kind of struggling with, like, Silithus is too challenged, too difficult. I think we're still too low level for Winter Spring. Yeah, I still feel like we're still a little bit too low level for Winter Spring.
City hums, it knows my secrets. I'm awake, tangled in regrets. Every scar I try to hide led me here, nowhere to run tonight.
Still a little bit too low level for Eastern Plaguelands.
There's a spark I can't contain, rising slow
This is a
through
degree
all my veins.
Huh, I didn't know I had this quest here.
I'm
How much experience is this worth? 3,800.
walking past the nights that try to hold me. Every part of me is finally awake. I'm standing. I won't break.
So many quests, but none of them are. It's hard, like on the melee hunter, because you're pretty weak. The way I'm playing the class, you know, because I have all these restrictions on my gear. Like, if I didn't have restrictions on gear, I'm sure my gear would be a lot, like, way better. If I didn't have the restrictions that I could only use gear that I could craft, I would be doing dungeons and stocking up on some, like, really good gear. I remember I'm rocking a level 10 cloak, a level 20 belt, those are some pretty bad items. But we just got. That's not a dumb question. I mean, Mr. Pandaria, is it out yet? Is it already out? I think, you know what's funny? What's after Mr. Pandaria? Cataclysm, right? Been out for a while. I'll tell you what, no, it doesn't really interest me, to be honest. And first off, I can't stand pandas. I think that whole thing was just stupid. We can thank that hairy dude for that. One of the original like art team guys, you know, the guy with the long hair. He's the one who came up with the idea for pandas. Apparently, he drew a picture of a panda for his daughter or something, and it like for some reason it in his twisted brain he thought, oh, pandas, that would be a cool new race. And I'm like, how did you ever sell that? How do you sell pandas as a playable race? I mean, the whole lore around the pandas was just, I just hate it. I just can't stand it. It's like, is this game fucking Dora the fucking Explorer? World of Warcraft was all about being kind of gritty in the beginning. It was orcs versus, you know, humans, and it was kind of, I don't want to say it was grim dark, but it was, you know, it was Warcraft, you know. The story and everything was good, and it felt more like it had an edge to it. And then we started going down this path of nonsense, you know, with Drakthir and pandas. Ugh. No, the expansion, believe it or not, the expansion that if they get to this expansion in Classic, yeah, I can't play retail at all. It's just human pile of dog shit. The Classic expansion, if they ever did a Classic of this particular expansion that I would play, would be Battle for Azeroth. And the reason I would play Battle for Azeroth Classic, if they ever get to that point, was because it's the first expansion where they actually have kind of a really fun survival, like really fun, like kind of melee-esque survival hunter. It is Battle for Azeroth, so like if we look, let's see if we can pull up the skills. Yeah, right here. This is why Battle for Azeroth Hunter is so amazing. It's right there, Harpoon. Throws a harpoon enemy, rooting them in place and pulling you to them. That one ability makes the hunter 10,000 times better. Like, it's just such a great ability, and it's like having a closer as a hunter, like being able to like close and do damage, you know. And I think you also probably have. Let's see if we can pull it up. Midnight talent calculator. Can we even find a Battle for Azeroth talent calculator? This is midnight though. I see this is not Battle for Azeroth, guys. Really don't want to look at midnight. Cataclysm was first, and then in 2012 it was... Oh, so Kata was first. Hey, thanks, Frey. I couldn't remember with the order. So it was Kata, then Mop. That's right. Kata was terrible. I hated Kata. Leveling in Kata is one of the worst. Like, the leveling experience in Kata is so shit. So what's so good about the Hunter in Battle for Azeroth is you've got kill command, and you have your harpoon. You have exhilaration, which again, that's brings up a whole other kind of conversation about me not really enjoying classes that have healing that aren't healers. I don't think classes should have healing that aren't healers. I mean, the whole point of a fantasy like RPG, it always goes back to Dungeons and Dragons for me. Like a warrior in Dungeons and Dragons isn't healing himself. You know, a ranger in Dungeons and Dragons is not like casting some sort of spell that's healing himself. So I maybe in later versions, I'm talking like original D&D, so I'm not a fan of healing. Um, so I don't like that. But exhilaration is a good spell when you put it in the context of all the other classes and what healing they have. You know, it's quid pro quo. If a warrior can heal, then a hunter should be able to heal. It's just, you know what I mean. You're trying to balance things out. The other thing I was really looking for was, do we have serpent? Do we have that like that poison dart? I don't remember when they added poison dart. Do you have a talent calculator here? I just see the abilities, but I don't see the talent calculator. Is tip of the spear? Is this battle for Azeroth? Tip of the spear is important. I don't know what version of WoW this even is. It doesn't really tell me. Whatever. I've gone down the rabbit hole too far already. But if they ever did a Battle for Azeroth classic, I would definitely play that, because the Survival Hunter in Battle for Azeroth is actually really, really fun. It's the first version of Survival Hunter that gets, I believe that gets Harpoon, which I think is probably the greatest ability they've ever added for Hunter. Ooh, a monster omelet.
Goddess, watch over you. Elune be with you. Be careful.
Ishnu Allah, farewell.
Yeah, the whole thing is class fantasy, right? Class fantasy and class identity. You need to have that, like healers should be healers, DPS should be DPS, tanks should be tanks. That's what sets up class identity. And in World of Warcraft, they started homogenizing the classes, where every class like abilities from other classes like healers started leaking into DPS, and DPS started leaking into healers into some respects, and it just really ruined the uniqueness of each class, I didn't like Legion, which is kind of a hot take. A lot of people really like Legion. I didn't, because I hated the zones. I'm really big into the exploration and the world. Like, to me, the world's really important. The way it looks, the way you navigate it, feeling of moving from zone to zone is really important. So, like, level design is really important to me. Immersion is really important to me. I thought Legion was very disjointed, and I didn't like the zones. You know what? We should probably just... Nah, never mind. Like, the thing with World of Warcraft that a lot of people don't realize is that as early as the Burning Crusades, they started nerfing the content. Because if you look at, like, Lakeshire, and you look at some of the zones, right? Let's just talk about Lakeshire, right? Like Red Ridge. Like, there's quests that kind of are near the end of that zone, and they're elite mobs. Like the orcs over there are elite orcs, and you have to go in there and kill some of these orc leaders, and they're elites. As early as the Burning Crusade, they start nerfing the content. Elites are no longer elites. Like, those quests that you do in TBC in Lakeshire, they're still there, but the mobs aren't elites anymore, which is stupid. It's this constant making the game easier and more accessible for, I guess, for everybody or something. I hate that. And it's not just World of Warcraft. It's almost every MMO does that. Like, when they have an MMO that's been out for a year or 2 or 3 years, they start to, like, make content easier. And I think I don't know if it's because it's like catch up mechanics or trying to let people that are new to the game catch up to other people that have been in the game for years, but I'm really very much against that, and I think I just hate it. Like if it took me like a month to get to 60, when the game came out, why should it take you only a week when you play the game? Fuck that.
Another day gone, seems I just
I mean, MMOs in general are far too easy.
also
You know,
close.
I mean, one of the things about vanilla, why this is still a fun game is, especially when you're playing hardcore, because it's still kind of challenging. There's still things there's things that like I'm not gonna run off into, you know, like I'm not gonna go into Eastern Plaguelands and try to go and do the Fellstone Cauldron, the Cauldron here over here, by this one here or this one here, because I could try to do it, but it's really difficult. There's mobs over there that can kill me. I mean, there's mobs that can freeze me into a block of ice. There's mobs that can put some vicious debuffs on me. There's casters that do some serious damage at range. And I just choose to not put myself in those dangerous situations, when I'm leveling hardcore. Some people will be like, oh, I don't care. I just want to do these quests because I need the XP. But I'm like, there's other quests I can do that are just aren't as, a little bit safer. So what I'm trying to say is vanilla WoW still has some aspect of difficulty to it. There's definitely areas in the game that are dangerous. And in later versions of WoW, that just all kind of disappears entirely. But vanilla's not difficult. This is not a difficult MMO. But for someone who's never played vanilla WoW and to come in and play hardcore, I'm sure for them it probably feels very difficult, I would imagine. I mean, I have my height meter for Classic Plus is like 3.5 out of 10 because I just have no faith. I'm excited to see what they'll do, and I'm hopeful that they'll create something that's I was talking to Showbeck. I talked to Showbeck briefly via private messages in game, I think yesterday, and I was on my human, on my paladin, and he said, "Oh, you're a traitor." He's like, because I said I'm Lonely Elf and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know you." And he goes, "You're a traitor. You're playing a human." I said, "I'm just, I said, love paladins." I said to Showbeck, I said, "Hey, I've always wanted a night elf paladin," and he said, "I have too." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I've always wanted a night elf paladin." That's what Showbeck said. And I said, "Well, maybe in Classic Plus they'll give us night elf paladin." And Showbeck said, he said, "I'm hoping." He's like, "I really hope so that they do." It was funny because I mentioned to Showbeck that there is a class in vanilla where there's a storyline in WoW, not vanilla WoW, but in a version of WoW, there's a storyline where a night elf actually becomes a paladin. There's actually I think it was Volstay who pointed that out to me, and when I met Showbeck, he knew exactly which one thing I was talking about, which shows you that Showbeck has a pretty good knowledge of the lore of World of Warcraft. I think Undead Paladins is completely fine because the thing is, remember how undeads were created, right? Like undeads were just humans, right? Who died and were resurrected by, I think they were resurrected by Sylvanas, right? She resurrected the corpses and turned them into these undead followers, So it makes perfect sense that if a human was a paladin when they died, and then they were resurrected as an undead, why wouldn't they possibly still be a paladin? I mean, they were before they died. You know what I mean? So I don't really have a problem with undead paladin, but I think it should be a different take on the paladin. I think there's another game that has that. Oh, yeah, I think it was I know exactly what it is. It was Baldur's Gate 3. So in Baldur's Gate 3, there's a way where a paladin can forsake his kind of like his faith, and it's called the Oath of Vengeance. Paladins abide by the following tenets. They fight the greater evil. I think it was called Oath of Vengeance, but it might not be called that, but there's something in Baldur's Gate 3 where the paladin becomes kind of like not really a holy paladin anymore. If I can find it real quick. Oathbreaker. This is it. Right? So the Oathbreaker paladin in Baldur's Gate 3 starts gaining all these kind of like spells where they can bleed enemies, or kind of like more dark and evil type spells. But so what I'm saying is, I think the undead paladins should be reborn. When they're reborn as an undead, I think they should be something like that, where they're no longer these super holy paladins, but they've become this kind of dark version of a paladin. So I mean, I definitely 100% think there should be undead paladins, and I think there should be night elf paladins. So I don't know why there isn't, to be honest, because there's just so much cool lore that you could do. Why is this a quest? These guys are very. They're actually, I don't think they're elites, but they're tough. Yeah, that's the thing with Classic Plus. Like we were talking about that. It's like I don't have any. I mean, the problem with Classic Plus, and the only way I think the only way they could do Classic Plus for me in a way that would really work, is if they rolled out like a self-found hardcore server for Classic Plus, where when you're playing Classic Plus, you're just automatically self-found hardcore, like automatic, like everybody on the server is self-found hardcore. Or if they, and I tried to think about it briefly, if they came up with a way to prevent, because really it's gold selling, gold buying, boosting, all that kind of stuff, GDKP. To me, that's what ruins World of Warcraft, like 100%. Like the reason people enjoy playing self-found hardcore on this server is because all that's gone. There's no boosting, there's no gold selling, there's no, it just doesn't exist, because you can't trade. When you're self-found hardcore, you can't trade with other players. You can't use the auction house. You can't use the mail system. So it basically eliminates, what I consider to be the worst thing, the thing that kills World of Warcraft more than anything, right? And so if you could somehow come up with a way to prevent those things, but still have the ability to trade with other players, I think, maybe you could just say you can't trade money with other players. You could trade maybe items or something. Like players can't trade money, But then if you could trade items, then obviously farmers could sell you items. So then that would become another form of, currency. So that wouldn't work either. I'm trying to think of ways that we could prevent the people buying stuff with real, RMT, real money transactions is what I'm trying to prevent. People just swiping their credit card and buying really powerful items, Yeah, hunters. Yeah, humans not being hunters is. I've always thought that was the dumbest shit ever. It makes no sense whatsoever. Humans, traditionally in pretty much every MMO, are usually pretty much can play like any class generally. It's kind of like, the humans are always kind of like the base template for everything, Like they're just they're good at everything, like the humans are the dominable spirit, they're adaptable, they're flexible, they can play any race. They maybe aren't as great as elves, with you shooting a bow, but you know what I mean? They can be good at everything, basically. That's the way that typically is in most MMOs. I'm just killing these guys because honestly I have no motivation to do any quest at the moment. Maybe we'll farm some feathers. Yeah, exactly. Like, humans have always been like that. But yeah, I think for Classic Plus, I think if they did release, I would love to see them come out with Classic Plus where, you know, undeads could be paladins and night elves could be paladins. So then you would have, you know, then undeads would have access to the paladin class. So then if you're going to do that, you would have to have a shaman on the alliance side. And I think the class that makes the most sense for shaman would be night elf, right? Because night elf are kind of nature-y type things, and shamans feel like kind of a tribal nature thing. So I think night elves should be. I would add shamans and night and paladins, but that would be kind of weird though. Having one race be able to be shamans and paladins, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that would work. But I think if you gave undead the ability to play paladins, you have to give some alliance race the ability to play a shaman. Is what I'm trying to get at, you know. But the biggest win in Classic Plus to me, like the biggest win, the easiest win, is to fix the professions, man. I mean, I would focus on the professions really hard if I was doing Classic Plus, because to me, progression in and of itself is the single most important aspect of an MMO. You know, the feeling of growing your character, maybe not even necessarily becoming more powerful, but becoming more versed in the world or more learned in the ways of the world that they exist within, you know, and then of course obviously becoming stronger as well. But you know, I think professions are so weak in Classic. Like, you know, like leather. Look at my character. Like I'm a leather worker, and I'm like 300 and, you know, I've got a skill of 283 out of 300, and I'm wearing a level 10 cloak, and I'm wearing, you know, a level 20 belt. I mean, that just makes no sense. Yeah, I'm 283 skill, and I can't make something that's better than that. It's a joke. Um, you know, there just isn't. Also, I'm not really a huge fan of the gatekeeping too. Like a lot of the higher level recipes in Classic WoW, you have to do raids to get the materials. Now, if you had access to the auction house, you could obviously just buy the stuff off the auction house for those materials. But if you're gonna do like hardcore self-found, then you have to really think about reworking those things so that people that are self-found still have access to do stuff. Because if you're an enchanter in self-found hardcore, you can't even do anything. You can't even like level your enchanting because you can't make the rods. You can't make the rods that are made by blacksmithing. So that's a real problem. Yeah, the Warlock's still alive. I just lost interest in the Warlock. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the Warlock on paper sounds really fun, but I'm having a lot more fun playing the Paladin and the Hunter than playing the Warlock. So the Warlock, and he's still sitting there like level, I don't know, level 8 or something. So I've been trying to... Anyways, yeah, so I've been trying to level the Hunter to 60 because she's so close. Especially after I got the Stone Raven drop yesterday. I got this new weapon drop off a mob in Ungoro. It's unbelievable. I got 2 blue pole arms in Ungoro Crater in a span of just like 3 days, I think. You know, this dropped off a Raptor Stone Raven in Ungoro. I've got a YouTube short that shows me looting that item, or at least finding it. But yeah, I think the professions need a serious overhaul for Classic Plus. I don't really think the classes need a ton of work. I mean, I think when you look at what the changes they made to classes going into TBC, a lot of those changes were good. So just start there. You know, obviously fix some of the big major shortcomings like Paladin not having a taunt, that type of stuff. Paladins having severe mana issues. You know, those things need to be addressed. I think in Classic Plus and should be addressed. But yeah, professions should be addressed. I think you need to focus on adding, you know, more content. Obviously, like leveling in vanilla can be, you know, I think a lot of people would agree that leveling in vanilla is probably the strength of vanilla, and that's why it's so fun. But it's also in a way there's a lot of leveling kind of areas that are a little bit that aren't great. Let's just put it that way. They're a little rocky. Like when you're like level 38 to 40 on the Alliance, you're kind of like, you know, there's not a lot of quests to do, and there are, but a lot of them are kind of all over the place. Like you'll be like, oh, 38, and you're like, well, you know, I can do some strength, I can do some STV quests, right? Or oh, you know, maybe I can do a few quests, you know, here in South Shore, but it's just a few. It's just it'll be like 2 or 3 quests. So it feels like it's like all over. Like I'll do 2 quests here, then I gotta fly to this continent. Do 2 3 quests here, then I gotta fly back to this zone. Do 2 3 quests here, and you know that's which is in a way okay because it means you have to traverse the world more, which makes the world feel more alive. And one of the things about doing it that way is, you know, in vanilla the world always feels kind of alive because everybody's doing that. They're moving around and doing quests that take them all over the world. Whereas if you look at a game like Guild Wars 2, where it's basically, if you guys have ever played Guild Wars 2, is you know, it's very, you know, each zone has kind of like all these quests and they have all these kind of points of interest. And so the whole point is to like kind of do zone completion almost. Like let me go do all the quests, let me discover all the points of interest because you get experience for doing those things. And then let me find all the you know, there's other things too. There's like hidden areas and there's little like trying to think what the other things are, but there's just lots of different things you can do at each zone. And so when you're leveling, you just kind of focus on that. You kind of focus on let me complete this zone, and the game helps you because the map is really, you know, interactive. The Guild Wars 2 map's really good actually, but it's easy. There's no difficulty. Like you're not having to move around a lot. Because if you're in a zone in Guild Wars 2, and also Guild Wars 2 scales by level. So if you're in one zone, like for example, if I'm level 30 or something in Guild Wars 2, you know, if I go to like the Badlands, it doesn't matter. The mobs will still be, you know, they'll scale to my level. So you have a lot more zones to level in because of how it scales automatically. Is that a good thing or not? I mean, I think a lot of times it is. I think, but also I think zones there should always be challenging content. Like you should always be afraid when you're moving through zones in an MMO. There should always be danger around every corner. You know, just because you're level 30 and most of the mobs in your zone are level 30, there should still be mobs that are 40 or 50. You know, there should always be stuff like that because it just makes the game more interesting. You know, if you go into a zone that's like if I'm level 30 and I go into a zone that says it's 30 to 35 and that's all that's in there, well, that's not a very challenging. It's not a very scary zone to me because nothing in the zone is higher level than like, you know, maybe a few levels above my level. You know what I mean? So, which I don't care for that either. So, there's just I could talk for hours and hours and hours about level design, zone design, quest design, class design. I mean, I could talk about this shit for weeks. And there's strengths and there's pros and cons for all these different things. When I look at how you level in Guild Wars 2, I think it's pretty good, but there are definitely weaknesses to that, you know what I mean, versus how vanilla works, you know. Well, I didn't play. My problem with Elder Scrolls Online, first of all, like the combat was kind of clunky. But my biggest problem with Elder Scrolls Online, and it took me years and years and years to figure it out because I tried playing ESO like 13 different separate times and I never could. I didn't have fun. Whenever I played ESO, I didn't really have that much fun. Like I'd play it and I'd have fun for like a day, and then like the second day it wouldn't be as fun as the first day, and the third day, by the third or fourth day I wasn't having fun at all. And I could never figure it out. I was like, why am I not having fun? I mean, the combat's decent. The graphics are nice. There's plenty of things to do. And the two things that struck me in ESO was one, the map felt too congested. Like it felt like there was too much stuff in the zones, which is really a weird thing to say. You know what I mean? I think that's a really weird thing to say. You don't ever think of that as an argument or like a complaint, like, oh, there's too many things, too many things. But I felt like there wasn't enough just open spaces in the world where it felt like I could just kind of get lost in the open world. It felt like there was always like I was in a city and then I went a little bit out into the world and I immediately ran into something else and it never I always felt like almost claustrophobic in Elder Scrolls Online. Like it was just too much shit. And then the other thing, the biggest thing though, that I finally realized the reason I don't like Elder Scrolls Online is the leveling is so non-challenging. It's like so ridiculously non-difficult. Like you're never fighting mobs in Elder Scrolls Online, and you're never like thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna die," or just you never get like a bunch of mobs attacking you, whether you really feel like, "Oh, I'm in trouble." It just felt like so bland. It's like, "Oh, go kill these mobs." When you're killing these mobs, I mean, it's like I could be playing the game with just my pinky and still do it. It's just so easy. Yeah. Oh, is that true? I didn't play Elder Scrolls Online enough. When I did play it, I was playing I think a night was it a Nightblade? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. The last time I played it, which is probably a while ago, right? Seven years ago. You'll see lots of videos of me trying to play the game. I think it was this one. This might have been the last time I played it. Was here. Yeah, see here, like a year ago I was trying to play it. You're like going through the beginning story. Is this Chrome? Because that's freaking up my... Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I gotta log out because I don't know what it is. Whenever I bring up a browser window, and even though I think that's Brave, isn't it? No, that's Chrome. No, it's a Brave window. Even the Brave window was kind of... Why is this like fucking Max there? I'm just trying to see what type of class I was playing. Hey Jacob, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I know I'm on kind of a tangent here, but here you can see I'm playing... It's kind of ranged class, and as you watch me play, and I did go through some research on how to set up my UI to make it, you guys know I'm very particular about my UI. And so I went, I always try to make it as clean as possible. I want to go back to my character loading screen. So I was playing a level 5, I think it was a Nightblade, pretty sure. Yeah. No, but I think it was this one here, this like 16 Nightblade. Anyways, it just felt like there's no difficulty to the game, like no challenge. Everything like leveling, it just didn't feel like in World of Warcraft when you run into an area and there's like a bunch of mobs. Like if I run into Westfall and I go over to, by the Dead Mines entrance there, and I aggro like 2 or 3 casters, I mean, I'm not going to be able to survive. I can't kill, if I'm like level 13 or level 15 or something, and I aggro like 3 of those casters over there, I mean, they're going to kill me. I have to run away and kind of reset the fight. And that didn't feel like that ever. I never felt like that in Elder Scrolls Online. I always felt like everything was manageable, and also the combat's really janky in Elder Scrolls Online. It just feels clunky, Soulframe. I think I played Soulframe, but isn't Soulframe like... I actually played Soulframe, but didn't I play Soulframe? I think Soulframe, the biggest thing is it didn't have climbing mechanics, which I thought was a huge miss for a game like that. Pretty sure. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah, I played Soulframe. I like the art style though. I know I played Soulframe. Yeah, Soulframe. I was rambling. Did I play it on here? Anyways, I know I've played Soulframe. The one thing I didn't like about Soulframe is there's no climbing mechanics, so I thought was a terrible, terrible miss. I mean, the game really feels like it needs climbing mechanics, and like for modern, when you have a modern kind of like game like Soulframe, you know, I think you pretty much it's almost mandatory. It would be like playing like Crimson Desert without climbing mechanics, or Chrono Odyssey without climbing mechanics. I just think when you have one of these more modern type of games that have a type of combat system like Soulframe has, I think you've got to have that climbing mechanic because I like Soulframe. I mean, I like the art style of the world. I didn't like the characters. They weren't fantasy as I typically like. I like high fantasy. Um, so I'm very much into elves and orcs and that kind of thing. I just like that stuff. I don't know. I think it's because growing up playing Dungeons and Dragons. That's probably why I'm just so used to that. But I did like the art style of the game. I thought it was really cool. I love their interface. I thought was really great. Their their logo, and their branding was amazing. I think I have a video. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I might even have it on my stream. Let me see if I can find it really quick. We're on a big deep tangent here. If I can find Soulframe. Yeah, here we go. Open with. So you can even see I created this clip. This is like the launcher, this launch screen, like when you log into Soulframe, I think. But check this out, like just the art style. Just look at how beautiful these graphics are, right? And the music too. We love the music. But I'm not into this like Asian, like I don't know what you'd call it, feudal Japanesque style. That's not my thing at all. Like at all. Like I don't really go for Shogun, you know, that type of art isn't my thing. I don't want to look like a what's the word? I can't think of the word, man. I'm too tired. Yeah, I don't want to be dressed like this, just don't, you know. But yeah, I do really appreciate the whole like graphical style that they have in the game, and the music is so good. Like such great music too. So now they have. So I'm definitely interested in Soulframe. I think it's got potential, but they really if they don't add climbing mechanic, I mean that could be. I mean I know I hate to say something as simple as climbing mechanics could be a deal breaker, but I think for a game like that, it could almost be a deal breaker for me if it doesn't have climbing mechanics. I think like then because the world the way it was constructed is a little bit more difficult to navigate without climbing mechanics. The way they built the zones, so yeah. Mm. I think I know Force Gaming did a video on Chrono Odyssey recently. I need to watch that. Hey JP, what's up, dude? JP, you always come on when I'm getting ready to get off. It's 6:46 in the morning, and I'm probably gonna go back to sleep, try to get some sleep, because I'm very tired. But how you doing, JP? Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. You just woke up? Yeah. But yeah, like Chrono Odyssey is something I really enjoyed, and it got a lot of bad reviews based on the kind of the last test they did, and for good reason. There were a lot of issues with the game, but it's going to be really interesting to see what. It's going to be really interesting to see how the game pans out because they're making so many changes to the game, like a lot of changes, and I'm not sure all the changes are making good changes, but until I go in and play the game, and I'm really wondering when they're going to do their next playtest, for Chrono Odyssey, because the last one they did was like last. I don't even know when it was. It was so long ago. I mean, it was last year sometime, I think. Yeah, you didn't see the short. I got another blue drop in Angora Crater, dude. Here, Oh my god, so I can't believe it. We just got this weapon in Angora Crater, killing one of the little blood petal mobs. So remember I got Bone Chewer like a couple days ago, right? Like just like I think the day before yesterday. And I thought, man, this is amazing. I finally got a good weapon I can use. And guess what? Just dropped off a raptor. Stone Raven. Which, in every way possible, is better than Bone Chewer. It's a slower weapon. It's got bigger top end damage. Not only does it have a ton of strength, but it's got a ton of agility, ton of stamina. Yeah, so look at this. So we just looted Stone Raven. Like this was just yesterday. It dropped off a raptor. Stone Raven. So you can see 3.3 attack speed. So the top end damage is much bigger. It had agility, stamina, spirit. So yeah, that's the new weapon. Isn't that crazy? Like I went so long without having a weapon, and then we got 2 blues in the span of a couple days. I really need to train my pet with Cower. I don't know if I have the points. And I don't even have a good rank. I don't have a good rank at Cower either, I don't think. Cower rank 2. Yeah, I need to... One thing about pets, and like, I don't think you can even train. Like, I can't train max rank, like, Claw, Cower, Dash... dash, and and then train like max rank, armor. I can't. There's not enough training points to max out certain things. Yeah, I don't. The melee warlock. I'm not gonna lie. I was playing the melee warlock, and then I kind of made the mistake of going back and look at one of my old videos of my protection paladin, because I'm a huge fan of protection paladins, Ryan. Like huge fan of protection paladins, and I started playing, and I had created a protection paladin here, a self-found hardcore one, before I created the warlock. Before I created the warlock, I had already created a protection paladin and already had the idea of playing the protection paladin. So I was playing the melee warlock, and then I made the mistake of, Cargos came into my stream last week ago or something, and he mentioned the paladin. Mentioned me all the time I'd played on the paladin, which made me want to play the paladin again. So then. And then I went and looked at one of my old videos of me doing like AoE protection paladin leveling. It really I got the bug for the protection paladin again. So if I do play the melee warlock, it's gonna be second fiddle to the protection paladin and this character here. Although we could just play all 3, because you can certainly level 3 at the same time, and that way you're kind of really using rest time to your greatest benefit. You know, you play one character for a level, then you jump on the melee warlock for like, you know, 3-4 levels, and then you come back and, you know, play the protection paladin for like a couple levels. You can kind of bounce around. It's easier to level 3 levels characters to 60 faster than just trying to level one at a time, you know. I think I remember you, Amelina. I have the worst memory. I'm not gonna lie. The name looks really familiar, though. How you doing? And I remember the kitty loves internet too. Thanks. I'm doing okay. Doing okay. My wife's still having all kinds of medical issues, so that sucks. But I don't really know what else to do about that. But I am still interested in the melee warlock. But like I said, I'm enjoying the melee hunter and the protection paladin more than the melee warlock. I guess that's the easiest way to say that. And right now, I just would like to get this character to 60 because she's so close. You know what I mean? So close and yet so far, right? Hope you're doing okay too. I hope you're doing well too, Amelina too. Was it a few years ago? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, but dude, I will say I have the worst memory. Like I remember the name. I remember your name, but I don't remember exactly what we did. Like, you know what I mean? Like exactly what we were doing. I'm okay. I mean, like I said, my wife's really having a lot of medical issues, so times around here have been pretty rough because of that. But I think it's 6:54 a.m. I don't know if my wife's going to her mom's today. I'm not sure what the plan is today. We have some furniture delivery today, so when the furniture is being delivered, I got a whole new bedroom set coming and a new mattress for the master bedroom. So I gotta deal with that today at some point. And I've got to take the old mattress out of. I got to carry the big old mattress. Everybody loves carrying mattresses, right? At least I don't have to go down any stairs, right? I gotta get the. It's not even an old mattress. It's not even that old. It's actually a really good. We're giving the mattress to my wife's sister's daughter, I think. She doesn't have a mattress as good as that one, but yeah, I don't have the worst memory. I apologize. That's from because I'm too old. But thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Kitty. Appreciate the good comments. It's always nice to see people come back to the stream who haven't been here in a long time. You know what I mean? We're just farming some feathers here for reputation. We got a little bit of a silver rare. This guy's, I'm sure he's weak. We'll take him down to Chinatown. Boom. Yeah, I can't pull thread as easy now as I should be able to. We really need to tame our pet with cower so we can like threat swap a little bit easier. But maybe we'll look at doing that when we pick up our. We're going to be picking up a new pet pretty soon anyway. Once I get to like 56, 57, we'll pick up a winter spring kitty. Oh, JP, you taking off? You gonna make some coffee? All right, JP, thanks for stopping by, man. Enjoy your coffee. And one of my biggest problems right now is I really need to figure out what to do with this inventory. I don't want to buy another bank slot because it's just so bloody expensive.
Open for business.
But we're really struggling with inventory right now.
Farewell.
Obviously didn't work. Blind weed. We get King's Blood?
Good day to you.
Probably gonna have to dump all my Incendisaur scales. And my Worn Dragon scales. I don't think we're gonna need those either.
Safe
Ugh,
travels.
what a mess. What a mess. Anyways, I'm gonna go, guys. I have to get some sleep too. Oh, but yeah, we've got the Paladin level 14 and the Warlock is level 8. And you can see I've also created the Demon one, but we haven't done anything with the Demon Priest. And then we got a couple other self-found hunters that I kind of played. But then I changed. The reason I changed from this one was this one didn't have the restrictions that this one has. This one has the restrictions where she can only use gear that she can craft and only use items that she can get in the open world. She can't use any kind of like quest rewards or anything like that. So, or any kind of dungeon rewards or boss rewards. So it was a little bit different. And this one's pure melee. Like this one can only do melee. Like can't use any ranged weapons whatsoever. Whereas these were both what I like to call hybrid melee, where they can use a bow, but only to use it only for Serpent Sting and Scorpion Sting and Viper Sting. That's it. Can't use like multi shot. Can't use aim shot or can't use concussive shot or any of that other stuff. But anyways, I'm really tired. I'm gonna get some sleep. I hope you guys have a good what is it, Saturday? Hope you guys have a good Saturday. Kitty, good to see you. Good to see you, JP, everybody. And Frey Feather, appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.